All right, let's jump right into it. Today we're unpacking a really profound concept about human greatness and honestly, the sheer power of our own thoughts. We're going to walk through this brilliant little fable in our explainer today that perfectly illustrates just how fast a life can completely transform the second a person's self-perception shifts. It's all about this paradox of potential, right? The idea that we literally all have this incredible power locked up inside us, but a lot of the time we just completely fail to see it.
You know that famous Napoleon Hill quote, "What you think about, you become"? Well, that timeless idea perfectly connects the mindset of absolute visionaries right back to our own day-to-day lives. I mean, think about the lives of incredibly successful folks like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, or Jeff Bezos. Their greatness wasn't just magically handed to them on a silver platter. It was fundamentally driven by their thoughts. They quite literally became what they thought about. But, okay, hearing that might make you wonder about everyone else.
Which brings up a pretty massive question. If success is simply a matter of mastering our thoughts and recognizing our own potential, then why in the world do so many people remain stuck? Are they just not thinking about their future? Do they completely miss what they're actually capable of? Well, to figure that out, we're going to dive into a story that just beautifully dissects human psychology and the crazy roadblocks we insist on putting up for ourselves. So, to get to the bottom of this, let's start with a fateful encounter at a busy train station. Picture this. You've got this beggar who survives day in and day out just by asking passengers for spare change as they wait for their trains. Asking is literally all he knows how to do. Then, one day, he spots this sharp-looking, super confident businessman striding onto the platform. The beggar takes one look at the expensive suit and immediately assumes, okay, this rich guy is definitely going to hand over some cash out of pity. He stretches out his hand fully expecting that standard dynamic, someone with money just handing it over to someone without. Now, you'd expect the usual routine here, right? But nope. Instead of dropping in a few coins, the businessman stops and hits the beggar with this incredibly profound question. He looks him right in the eye and asks, "Do you always just take from others? Have you ever actually given anything to anyone?" The beggar is just stunned. He's totally confused. He mumbles back that he's just a beggar, he survives on alms, and he obviously has absolutely nothing to give anyone. But that single question, it completely shatters the beggar's worldview. What we're really looking at here is a massive collision of two totally different mental frameworks. On one side, you have the beggar's mindset. He's operating from a place of absolute lack, genuinely believing he has zero value to offer the world. And on the flip side, we have the businessman's mindset. He operates strictly on value exchange. He essentially tells the guy, look, I'm a businessman. I believe in exchange. You offer me something, I give you something in return. Then, the businessman drops this absolute truth bomb before he boards his train. He says, if you truly believe you have nothing to give, then you have no right to ask for anything. And boom, he just walks onto the train and leaves. He wasn't being malicious, but he spoke a really harsh truth, leaving the beggar standing there on the platform totally floored, wrestling with a concept he had never once considered in his entire life.
So how does someone even process a harsh truth like that? Well, let's see how this exchange theory actually gets put to the test.
Imagine lying awake for 2 whole nights, your brain just spinning. That's what happened here. For 2 solid days, the beggar doesn't ask a single person for a dime. He's too busy thinking. He starts wondering, wait, is the reason people never give me much because I offer literally nothing in return? And then it clicks. The businessman's words trigger this monumental realization. If you want to receive, you must first give. Come day 3, he decides to pivot his entire strategy. He spots these vibrant wildflowers growing right near the train tracks, and a light bulb goes off. Step 1, he gathers a bunch of these flowers. Step 2, instead of just holding his hand out, he decides to offer a flower with a smile every single time someone gives him some change. And step 3, he watches to see what happens. We're literally watching him transition from a passive receiver into an active participant who's actually offering value. And the results? Immediate. He notices this really stark pattern right away. Before, without the flowers, his donations were super low. But the second he starts offering a flower, generosity absolutely spikes. People actually loved it. They accepted the flowers with joy, smiled back, thanked him, and he realized that as long as he had flowers in his hand, people gave generously. When he ran out, the money stopped. It perfectly validated the businessman's point. People fundamentally prefer a fair exchange. Now, this little experiment with the flowers triggers something much, much deeper, a total psychological identity shift.
Fast forward a bit, and the businessman actually returns to that station. The beggar is pumped. He rushes over and says, "Sir, today I actually have something to give you. If you give me money, I'll give you these flowers." The businessman smiles, hands him some cash, takes the flowers, and then gives him the ultimate validation. He says, "Today you are no longer just a beggar. You have become a businessman." That one sentence acts as this massive catalyst for how the man sees himself.
The businessman catches his train, but the former beggar is left standing there, his wheels turning. Am I really a businessman now? He realizes that, by definition, people aren't handing him pity money anymore. They're actively buying the beautiful flowers he curated. He's engaging in commerce, he has a product, he has happy customers, which means he literally has a real business.
This leads to a massive breakthrough. He declares to himself, "I am not just a beggar, I am a trader." And the best part is what he does next. Armed with this completely upgraded mindset, he makes the incredibly bold decision to leave that railway station that very same day, refusing to ever go back to being a beggar. His entire reality shifted, simply because his thoughts shifted first. So let's fast forward and see the long-term effects of this. What is the ultimate takeaway from all this?
Just look at this timeline. The trajectory is wild. Day 1, he's begging for scraps. Day 3, he's trading wildflowers. Just 6 months later, we get this amazing reunion. Two sharp, well-dressed men bump into each other on that exact same platform. It's the businessman and the former beggar. Except this time, he's not asking for spare change. He's running a highly successful, expanding flower business. They look at each other and shake hands, not out of pity, but as absolute equals.
When the businessman asks him how he did it, the flower seller smiles and credits that very first harsh lesson. But what's truly inspiring is his own realization. He says, "I was a businessman all along. I just had to see myself that way." The potential for all that success, it was literally inside him the whole time. It wasn't the wildflowers that saved him. It was the brand new lens through which he started viewing his own identity.
So distilling this whole explainer down, the core takeaways are crystal clear. Our lives are fundamentally shaped by how we choose to see ourselves. If you believe you're small, you're going to stay small. But if you recognize your own inner potential, you really can achieve greatness. The trick is to stop putting yourself in a tiny box. Choose to see yourself as strong and highly capable. Because as this story perfectly proves, when you upgrade your thoughts, your future literally changes right along with them.
So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought for today. How do you actually see yourself? What incredible potential might you be completely leaving on the table right now just because of some outdated label you've slapped on yourself? Take a minute today to really think about the unique value you have to give. Because remember, your reality is built by your mindset. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.